Hey, and welcome back to RaceViews. This race is of the Gateway Cup 2018 Day 1. It's the Lafayette Square race. And we had about 100 guys in this Category 2-3 race. And before I get started, I just want to give a shout out to this guy in the orange jersey on the right hand of the screen. The dude was killing it all weekend, and he has one leg. Like, that is badass. That is real badass. So kudos to him. So yeah, this is the second lap of the race. I just wanted to show you guys the full course. So this race is consistently one of the fastest races of the year, and that's mainly because the course is just so wide. It's like 4 lanes almost, with the bike lane and the parking area. So you can really just like pedal through these turns. This is one of the slower turns, and we're going through that at 25. And there's a little bit of a riser here, but other than that, we averaged 29.3, which is actually one of the slower times for when I've done this race. Usually we're closer to 30. So this race is also on Friday night, so it starts around 7:30, I believe. And sunset's like 7:45, 8 o'clock-ish. So about half of the race is actually in the dark. And you'll see in a couple moments when I skip forward that it really can be kind of sketchy, because sometimes you just like cannot see people on the straightaways when there's no lights. So you really have to be cognizant of that and make sure you know where your wheel is and you know where the guy in front of you is. Because just like your reaction time is just a little bit slower, I feel like, or you just like can't see everything as quickly as you can during the day, obviously. So yeah, that was a full lap, and like I said, super fast course. You can pedal through the turns, and basically in this race view, I want to talk about how I lost the race. So I ended up finishing 9th out of 100 guys on this day, but why didn't I win? And that's mainly because I did not take the course to my advantage. You can see here, it was always fairly easy to move up, and based on the previous years, I knew a breakaway would most likely not stick, just because the course is so fast that you have to have a number of very, very motivated guys willing to, bury themselves the first day of the Gateway Cup. And so because of that, it's usually just like a sprinter's dream. Just sit in. You can basically sit at the back all day if you wanted and move up fairly easily, as you saw just then. I moved up on the inside, and it's pretty easy to move up. And when you're in the back, you're not really losing too many watts, because you don't really have, no one breaks through the turns because it's just so wide. So again, coming through another lap, we have about 8 to go, so I really wanted to stay towards the front with about 10 or so to go. And you can see again, I'm just like biding my time and waiting for guys to go, because I know people want to move up. So as soon as someone else goes, I'm just going to follow their wheel. So like this guy in front of me, and then these two guys come off the edge. So I'm like, all right, follow them up and eat a little bit of wind, but I'm not too worried about it. We still have 8 laps to go, and just try to stay towards the front in case there is moves that go that are dangerous. You want to just be able to see that and react to it if you have to. But you can see I just went through that turn at about 20 miles an hour on the inside. So the inside is slower, but it's a shorter line, so that really makes up the difference. And again, here we are coming in with 2 laps remaining in the race. Little farther back at this point than I want, but it's a long course, so I'm, fairly confident I can move up. And I really want to, you really have to use the course to your advantage. So again, here was a good moment because I was able to, move up on the outside. So I was able to hold a lot of speed through that turn. But That being said, you have to realize on courses like this, the inside is really where you want to be because it is a shorter line. So even though you can hold more speed through the outside, it doesn't, really matter that much because you have the inside's a shorter line. So the differences negate each other, basically. So now you have a couple guys going up front, making a little move, but again, I'm not too worried about it. We're going 31 miles per hour, so you're almost in your biggest gear at this point, and when you're off the front at 31 miles per hour, it is really, really hard to hold that. So, you can see my watts going up to 600 watts in the draft. So guys at the front are holding, 700, 750 plus. So to hold that, it's really hard. And what was really interesting is the pro race after our race, a breakaway of 3 actually stuck, and that's because 3 guys in there. One of them was Thomas Rivard. There's another guy from 303 Project and Hollow Esco Citadel. I forget the 2 guys' names, but they were all extremely motivated, and they had big teams in the back, so they didn't have to do any work. And they crushed it. They held like a 20-second gap the whole race, and were able to stick it out with a breakaway win, which is actually really interesting for this course. So now we're on the last lap. Again, guys are getting antsy. Guys are screaming to move. This one guy like shouts at me at one point, and I'm like, it was coming up right here. He shouts at me, and I kind of just like give him room, not even like thinking about it, and he just blasts through. So sometimes that's a good tactic. Like if you want space, sometimes you just yell things and people will move over for you. It kind of just like caught me off guard for a bit, so I just let him go. But now I'm kind of boxed in on the outside. You see if I was on the inside here, which is where the winning move was, I could have made that work. I could have held that wheel, but then some guy behind me yells, "Go, Thomas, go!" So I move over, and through this turn, I kind of lose a wheel. So I have to put in a big effort here. Look at going up to 800, 850 watts to get back up into position, which before sprint isn't great. 950 before the sprint. So it really was hard to hold position on the outside. And now you can see if you look over the road, the winning move is on the inside. He's already way up through this turn while I'm just getting through. So I'm able to make up a decent amount of positions right here with a big sprint, but still only landed me ninth place overall, which wasn't great. But that was also one of the fastest sprints I've had, over 40 miles an hour. So it was all right, but again, just needed to use the course to my advantage a little bit more, stay on the inside, and, make it happen that way. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Race Views for Gateway Cup number 1. We'll see you for the Race Views Gateway Cup day number 2. Subscribe if you haven't so you get updates on when that's released.